For more on this, I'm joined by the historian Timothy Snyder. He's a professor at the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy at the University of Toronto. He's the author of several important books, including On Freedom and On Tyranny, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century. Professor Snyder, thank you for being with us. You have, in some of our darkest moments in the last few years, had a very, very consistent message that we are who we are and we continue to have the agency that we have, and we will reclaim that agency and we will reclaim our democracy ourselves.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I mean, I think you hit on the essence of it in your monologue. It's not about who we are. It's about what we do. If we lie back and we think, well, history will save us, the Constitution will save us, something else will save us, then we've forgotten what it means to be a democracy. A democracy means the people rule, but the people only rule if they assert themselves as people. They only rule if they want to rule. And I think the turn that you're talking about has a lot to do with that. Rather than waiting, people acting.
A defining feature of Donald Trump's political power has been this veneer of invincibility. He's always had it in his entire time in politics. But unlike his first term, where he relied on some expertise and there were frailties, he has built a group around him where that is not tolerated. There's a reason Kristi Noem is out, but Pam Bondi isn't out yet, or Kash Patel isn't out yet, because Donald Trump likes that veneer of invincibility. We have finally seen cracks in this, though.
Yeah, I would point to a couple of things. I mean, the first is that Donald Trump's talent is in entertainment. He's a very talented entertainer, and the White House is probably best understood as a kind of television serial. And so one way that they break down is when the plot breaks down, is when the story no longer seems to make sense, when people who are following it, who believe in it, somehow seem, well, wait a minute, this is one contradiction too far. This is one plot twist too far. The other thing I would point to is the issue of loyalty. So where we're heading is an attempt by Mr. Trump, with the help of the people around him, to somehow federalize or fix the congressional elections of this November. That requires a really tight set of very loyal people who are willing to risk their futures against accountability. And so what we should be watching for is a kind of elite crack up where people say, I don't actually want to take this risk. I think that's what's coming, but we're not there yet.
Tim, one of the things you do is you've helped provide an intellectual framework for what resistance actually looks like. And one would say you've done your job, and that's pretty effective. But there's another thing you do. You're outside a lot. You understand the power of actual protest and people. We are seeing protests against this administration at roughly 4 times the level of his first term. And the No Kings rallies are fantastic. There'll be another one on March 28th, and I'm giving everyone permission to not watch this show on that day. But it's more important than just the 10 million people who will probably show up at that protest, or the millions who show up at the ballot box, as we saw on Tuesday and last November. But there are little protests going on around this country on a regular basis. There are town halls. There are just things people are doing on their own in their communities that are contributing to the whole.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. I mean, it's kind of you to remember that I go to protests, but like going to protests, in a way, it's very helpful, right? Because it makes you feel better. You're with people who are organizers. You're with people who are courageous. You're with people who are creative, and that makes you feel better and makes you more effective yourself. But secondly, I really appreciate your putting the emphasis on the organizers themselves, because organizing takes work. It takes planning. It takes time. Unlike entertainment, organizing is serious. It's purposeful. It's about the future. It's patriotic.
You said at the beginning of this, in your first answer, you said it's not about who we are, it's about what we do. In your book On Tyranny, you emphasize that democracy ultimately depends on ordinary citizens acting when institutions falter, which is exactly the moment we're in right now. What do you see happening here? These things feed on themselves, right? Kristi Noem is not the biggest problem in the U.S. government. She was a pretty big one, and that has faltered. She's going to be replaced by someone who's also going to do Donald Trump's bidding, who may or may not be better or worse. But the institutions are, something is happening, and Americans have got to win, a little bit of a win.
Yeah, and then there are negative cycles and there are positive cycles. And the positive cycles have to do with the people, right? They have to do with protests, they have to do with opinion, they have to do with action. But also, and this is a second lesson in the book, you help the institutions by doing that. And the institutions include things like the press. Without the press, without courageous journalists, without hardworking journalists, we don't know what we're protesting against or for. And the protests also inform lawmakers. They help them sit up straight in their seats and ask the tough questions. The protests inform judges. They remind them of what kind of country they're actually in, what the facts of the matter actually are. And so I think that the good scenario is that the protesting, the clarity, the courage helps to shape how the institutions behave as we head towards the fall.